Starship to spin up bunch of chains in the Cosmos ecosystem and get a development environment up and running. So this is the Starship repo. As you can see, there is a README in which you have a bunch of prerequisites or requirements that you need. Um, Assuming that all of that is installed, let's move on to the example for today. So today we'll go over spinning up two chains, one osmosis chain, one generic WASM-D chain, and a IBC relayer between them. Currently, we support two kinds of relayers, Hermes as well as TS relayer. You can change that as you want. And we will also spin up an explorer to have some visuals on the setup. Apart from the config file, we will use Helm charts and Helm repos. So we have a make file to have handy commands. So here we have the setup command that will set up the Helm repo, and then we use Helm install uh, and provided the config file uh, to override the default configurations and spin up the Kubernetes cluster. Cool. So we are in the Starship repo. Let's go to examples. Multi-chain, there are other kinds of examples as well that we have. Again, just to check, we have the config file here. Okay, I don't think it's the latest. Let's pull everything just to make sure everything is correct. Okay, cool. Then we do make setup. This will fetch the Helm charts required. Again, I don't think the Helm chart is the correct version, so we are trying to get the latest version. We are currently at version 17, if I'm not wrong. Yes. So let's again set up the Helm chart for the correct version. Okay, now we have the correct version. Let's check the Kubernetes cluster. Currently, we are connected to a Kubernetes cluster somewhere in DigitalOcean. So, as you can see, there's nothing right now. We will perform the Helm install command, and K9s we use it for you basically seeing what's happening in the cluster. So as you can see, we have 4 nodes spinning up for osmosis. We have a TS relayer node between Osmo and WASM chain, and we have 4 other WASM based chain. So for each of the chain, we have at least one Genesis node, and the rest are all validator nodes that are spun up. So we can see the logs. The validator node is being initialized. We have some keys that are added. As you can see, the Osmo node is up. It has started producing blocks as well. So now other nodes, the validator nodes, should start. Until the Genesis node is up and running, all the other nodes are basically waiting. But once the Genesis node is up, then all the other nodes start up in parallel. So as you can see, we have the pod initialization happening. SMD is taking a bit longer. It depends on the kind of cluster that we have and the resources that we've provided. Currently, we try to provide as minimum resources as possible for all the nodes. We have some more nodes spinning up. Explorer is also up now, so that's nice. And we have the osmosis. Osmosis chain is almost up. 3 out of the 4 validators are up. Pod initialization happening for the middle one, and now I think that's also up. So the osmosis chain is now fully up. We're waiting for the WASM chain to spin up. Once the WASM chain spins up, then the TS relayer will start. So as you can see, it's waiting on the WASM-D chain. Okay. In the meantime, I'll also go over the rest of the make file. So that is spinning up the the Kubernetes cluster. Since Starship is still under development, currently we are using kubectl port forward to forward all the required ports for us, that we then have access to them locally and localhost. So we parse the config file to find the respective ports. So if you could see, we have these ports defined here. So these ports are then uh, port forwarded into the local host, and you can access them as if you're accessing everything locally. So this is currently kind of a hack, but it works for now. Uh, Down the line, we have to perform this via ingress, properly route the traffic from any Kubernetes cluster to anywhere else as well. But for local development, I think port forwarding is still fine for now. Cool. Let's go back and check the state. Okay, since these are spinning up, we can. Okay. Yeah, so I think now the Genesis file has been created and the blocks have started for the WASM container as well. Once the WASM starts, then the TS relay will also start. So now it has ready to start. The TS relay is creating an IBC channel between the two chains and getting ready. The other chains are also, the other nodes for the WASM chain are also starting up now. So as you can see, we have all of them in pod initialization phase, so they will be initialized soon by the time this IBC is created. Okay. Currently, the spin up time is a bit much. We're trying to improve the speed up as well, cache stuff, and trying to get the spin up time to be low as well. So as you can see, we have 4 nodes of WASM chain, we have 4 nodes of Osmosis chain, we have an Explorer running, and the TS relay is spinning up, creating IBC channels between the two chains. Cool. Now, we have the Explorer, so we will do port forward and have a visual of what it will look like. Okay, port forward runs in the background. I think that's good enough. Let's go to localhost, pingpub. So we are running open source Explorer, which is pingpub. As you can see, there are 2 chains here, WASM and Osmosis. They are at particular heights. So this is, you have basically a local environment with 2 chains running in some Kubernetes cluster somewhere that you can use for development. You can see the blocks being produced. You can see the uptime, all the number of all the validators, and how they're producing the blocks. Once you do software or any kind of governance on these chains, you can see the governance proposals as well here, and you have parameters and others as well. Cool. These are the validators for the Osmo chain. We're not very creative on the names as of now, but we have initial wallets being created and initial money submitted to all the nodes, all the wallets, and we create validators from that. So this is the Osmo chain. We also have another chain, WASMD chain. Since this is a Kubernetes cluster, we can spin up as many chains, as many number of nodes as possible. Here are the nodes. Here are all the validators, and they are up for a while now. So all of them are cool. That is it for the demo. See you next time.